Cloud. Hi, everybody. I'm David Whitlock. During the day, I lead up Tripwire's Agility Enablement team, but I'm also a facilitator of the Agile PM Roundtable here with AgilePDX. I'm joined here by Lori Gordon. And we're both on the events planning group committee. I don't even know where we are for Agile PDX, and we were talking about some of the tools that we'd like to be able to use for forums like our roundtable and like our the other things that Agile PDX provides the community. And we said, wow, Mural would be really great to have. I think a number of us have used it in a professional capacity or in other volunteer. Um, Events. And so then Agile PDX was nice enough to buy a license for us to be able to use for events. And we started talking about how we're going to learn how to use it because not everybody who's in the event planning group is familiar with it. So we said, well, hey, let's get together and have a session. And then we were like, hey, wait, let's let everybody in. And so we invited the entire community. So thank you so much for joining us today. Um, Lori and I have both used Mural quite a bit, and I bet some of you have too. And so, what we're really hoping to accomplish today is talk about the kinds of things that can be done with Mural. If you are a presenter at an Agile PDX event or a frequent contributor, you might be seeing it. You might want to use it. And so, this is primarily for that. But if you use it or want to use it in in your professional aspects too, that's fine. But this is something that we might be seeing more of and wanting to explore it a little bit. Um, and as soon as Lori went on mute, I was going to be like, and Lori, what would you like to say about yourself and what we're doing today?
Well, sure. Yeah. So I'm an agile team coach over at Nike and a Scrum Master, and we've been using this as our primary tool. We've tinkered with Mural a little bit, but find it tricky the way that the licenses are locked down. And so Mural is really easy to invite people in. It's they don't have to pay to enter, being guests to your board, and so it's just a really friendly, versatile tool, a little bit better than Jamboards from Google. So just different tools we played with, and Mural is definitely where I've landed. So not promoting one tool over the other, just the tool of choice that we chose based on our own experience.
Awesome. And so I hope you've had an opportunity to explore here in the dojo that we have set up. You can use Mural for a number of things. Basically, I think of it as that whiteboard they don't have access to anymore. And so, really, when it comes to the kinds of activities and forums that Agilists like ourselves um, facilitate, so whether it's a sprint retrospective or a story mapping exercise, big planning, small planning, I've been using Mural more and more to give me that same sort of feeling, the same sort of tools that we're used to with stickies on the whiteboard, with markers and twine and all those kinds of things to be able to then have that rich and interactive, but not necessarily as tactile as like being able to physically move a sticky. That same kind of feel to our activities. So, Laura, I think you had come with a couple of murals that you wanted to walk us through, and then there's also a lean coffee that we're going to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me start out first with a couple mural basics just to save yourselves. The first thing I always recommend somebody new to mural is your avatars are at the bottom. And if you click on your avatar, you can actually turn off other people's cursors. A lot of people find those really annoying and distracting as they're trying to navigate around boards. So you can also turn off broadcast my cursor. So if you don't want other people to see where you're pointing at the moment, you can turn yourself off in that control. And then just zooming out, zooming in, zooming out. In the bottom right is a map of what this mural board looks like to kind of give you an idea where you're at in the entire scape of everything. And you can pinch, zoom in, zoom out on this board to go into certain areas as well.
One thing I wanted to point out is that in Mural there are two user roles. So I'm the facilitator of this particular board that we're looking at, which gives me superpowers. So we'll see some of those superpowers later on when Lori becomes facilitator of her boards. And so like when I hover over myself, I can do things like ask people to follow me. And so, oops, if I can get my, there we go. And so if I do that, I think you'll all see a little pop up in your um, in your mural saying, "Oh, hey, Dave wants you to follow him," and that allows me then, as the facilitator, to, as I move around, as I zoom in and out, you'll all be following me. However, if you hover over your avatar, you'll see some different options because you're a visitor and not a facilitator.
Yep. All right. Would you like me to take over screen sharing for a moment?
Please do.
Okay. Okay, so I just want to show you kind of some of the powers of Mural. Mural has a bunch of built-in templates. If I, I don't want to go back on that page. If I go back to here, you'll see that there's tons of templates out there available for you to use. I'm just going to share a few that I'm currently using at my work. So here's 6 that I thought would be really helpful to others. One of my favorites is a team canvas. And so this team canvas is similar to working agreements, just a fun way to help bring the team together to talk about how you want to storm, form, and norm. And this can be used with brand new teams. This can be used with existing teams as well. So in my case, I'm going to be using it with the team this week because they just added 4 new team members. So that's one example of a mural. Persona profile. This one is straight out of the template category. I have not edited it. This one just allows you to see, and this might be from Luma training. I can't remember if it's one straight from Mural, but Mural just recently acquired Luma, which is the design thinking concept. And so this one is about helping you identify who your users are and how they think and how they feel. So this is a nice quick template that I've chosen to pick. And then you can also use it for retrospectives. So where some of the tools are built in with anonymity, and I really love them, they lack some of the ability to have drawings and put your stickies up like we used to do on the whiteboard. So I really love Mural for this because you can draw your picture and then your teammates can add stickers or stickies into each of those categories as you prepare to get through your retrospective. This one's definitely from Luma training. The one I'm going to be using soon, and I'll provide that link in chat because we're going to use it today, is my Lean Coffee board. So I've taken their template, I've modified it a little bit, mainly because I like to capture takeaways, and that was missing from what they had for the board. So coming in here in a couple minutes, we'll jump into a Lean Coffee format so you guys can add your ideas under number 2 and anything that we haven't covered in our overview. We want to be able to give you guys time to ask more questions. So I'll come back to that in just a few, but feel free to join that board and add any notes you have. Another one we use is a user story writing workshop. And so just coming in and what I did is I basically designed a user story writing workshop from scratch. And we worked through what that would look like in teaching my team how to write great user stories. And then the team to actually practice getting those stories in place and writing those. So you can see that there's quite a variety of murals, and that's really what I wanted to show you. So that's the goal here. And then the last one that I'll show you, this one is about user story time. So we're creating the stories and mapping workshop. So in this case, we have a feature we're going to talk about. Yellow, let me zoom in. Yellow stickies are used to show what stories have to be done in order to achieve that feature. Gold plating ones are future stories that we think of, but we wouldn't do right now. We're also taking the time to capture as part of that conversation any open questions, risks we identify, and also document assumptions and reminders. So those are just a few of the different boards that I use. And like I said, if you go back to the templates category, it's just so easy. You just type in what you're looking for and it comes up with 100 templates. And yeah, you guys can see. I won't go scroll crazy. Any questions or other comments about templates that you guys want to share with each other?
Or the built-in templates for retrospectives?
So in your mural that you're logged into right now, or not logged into as a guest, If you click this arrow in the upper left and type in search, type retrospective. Oh, it went to the first one. My bad. Have to be in templates, I think. It's not narrowing down by retrospective in this way, but I thought I'd be able to search for retrospective, but I'm actually failing to do so.
Hey, Lori, there's a
In there?
search box up in the top right corner where you can type retro.
Yeah, but what I didn't like is it wasn't really showing me what it looked like before I started the board. Oh, maybe I just have to click through. There we go. So I can't zoom into those without actually creating them. But I can look at different ones. This looks like maybe it's the soup. Yeah, so it's giving me little sneak peeks, but until I actually create the board, I don't think I can see it. Let's see how it goes. So it still says template, so it's not on my own space yet. That's good. And of course I picked a challenging one. All right, we're watching paint dry. Great. We'll come back to that one. But yeah.
Another place that I've found to do it is when you go to create a mural, it shows all the templates and you get slightly different searching, slightly different filtering options then. Yeah, so if you
Oh, that's how I've
search
done
for
it. Thank
retro,
you so
yeah.
much. That's what I was looking for before. Yeah. Yes, that's much better. Now I can scroll through and see just the retrospectives. All right. Are we ready for the lean coffee, or was there a little bit of more navigation we were going to show, like left panel, right panel? I know we talked about covering some of that. Oh yeah, we didn't actually write that down, but it's probably good to show some of that navigation. So we'll kind of leave it open in the lean coffee, but you'll notice that there's, oh, that's the spinner. Over here, there's a navigation panel that sticky notes. You can either double click in a space to add them or not. Let me pull up the dojo again. Just encourage your participation over there. And let's see, has anybody started opening stuff on the dojo? A little bit, good. Yeah, so we want you guys to go ahead and feel comfortable playing with the different areas. As you scroll around the dojo, go ahead and just play with the different concepts and tools. So I'd love for you guys to fill this box up by playing with it and learning how to use it. A lot of it comes from what's on the left nav panel. And let me stop showing other cursors. There we go. So there's text and stickies. There's shapes and connectors. There's the icons, the frameworks. I don't think we put a space for, but basically there's a limited set of tables, etc. You can add. You can add images from your desktop, any files that you want to embed, or you can just freehand draw. So that's really helpful. In the outline, we don't have this one in particular set up in this way, but you can actually in the outline set it up so you can jump around the board by using this outline button in the top right that's available to you.
And I believe the outline's only available to facilitators.
Okay.
Is that those of you who are visitors? Does that match? Do you have that outline option?
I can see the outline.
You can?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay.
I think you can. I think there's an option to hide it. There's an eyeball here. Yeah. And I can actually hide that entire space from viewers. So in the outline, you can basically, similar to a PowerPoint presentation, advance through it and not reveal everything until everyone's in there, just to keep them focused.
Yeah, what was that Prezi, I think was the name of the tool that was like popular for a hot minute several years ago, where it's like, oh, I'm zooming in and out around my PowerPoint. You can actually, emulate that pretty well using the outline. I've used it a couple of times to pretty good effect.
This does remind me a lot of Prezi, and thanks for letting me know it's not popular anymore. I didn't know that.
Well, I haven't seen one of those. Well, it was like super popular there. I don't know if people are still using it, but it was novel. I liked it.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not seeing a couple, so you can see as facilitator, I've got a few more navigation choices up here. The facilitator can turn on and off certain features available, such as like a timer, pointer tools, etc. So I think with that, Dave, did I cover everything, or
Pretty good.
do
Paula,
we?
I see you are physically raising your hand to ask a
Yeah.
question.
So
Oh,
do you know if there's any way to I'm struggling to actually see this when I get it blown up enough so that I can actually see it, then it's like when I can. So my problem is that the mural stuff is so small in relationship to your stuff. Is there any ways to manipulate for those of us that wear glasses? Do you know if there's any kind of user controls here or no?
oh, yeah, that's what I was saying about being able to zoom in and zoom out, and then I don't know why.
So I can finally see the go-to, for example,
Mhm.
but I have to get the go-to big enough so I can see it. Your whole thing is out of screen, basically.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, I can't see the go-to my choice is either to look at your screen or look at their navigation. And if you don't know another
Yeah, well,
way
I
to
haven't
fix that.
experienced that. But yes, I mean, I've also noticed that for certain things like post-it notes, they're kind of a fixed sized thing. And so one of the things I've had to sort of, as I'm putting together, an outline or an area or whatever, making sure that I leave enough room for things like post-it notes versus just other text I would put in there. But yes.
Okay.
I am trying to recall how to turn that map on. Oh, yeah, it's the map down in the bottom right that I pointed out as we were joining in. You can zoom in and zoom out using that as well.
Mm.
And then you can also use it to click to different areas, if I've got it right. And right now I'm zoomed in on everything, but I think if I'm in one area and I click to another, yeah. It moves me around.
I think
So
it
that's a
also
couple
gives
minutes
an
we can help.
indication of where other people are on the mural. I think that's what those shaded rectangles are, which can be nice. I don't know if I've ever used it, but it's good to know.
Okay. All right, so jumping over into that lean coffee, I'll post the link again in case anyone joined after. Feel free to join in there as well as the JoJo. David, you want to post the JoJo again for anybody that joined late and
Sure.
wants to play with the mural board?
Yep.
So over in those lean coffee, let's use it for real. So I've got you down in number 2, topic creation and voting. So what questions do you have about mural? What things would you like to be able to do and you're not sure how?
Or if there are other features that you'd like to show off,
Yes.
things that you might know that have been especially valuable to you. Tips and tricks from everybody.
Yes, we'll keep everything in number 2 for a minute, and then I'll show you the power of voting, and we'll move those into a priority order. Has anyone never done a lean coffee before? On the far left of the screen, I talk about what the lean coffee format's generally used for. How it works is you do topic creation, and then we spend a couple minutes voting to decide which ones the group as a whole wants to chat through for the rest of the time we have together. We move those based on the voting. We'll move those in a priority backlog under ready to discuss. And then we'll spend 5 to 8 minutes per topic talking about those until conversation fizzles. And then we'll go pick the next topic and move it over. So lean coffee is just a really easy way to focus on topic of the hour and getting down to the heart of things quickly. Awesome. I see some great things coming in. Thank you.
I have a really newbie question. I can't seem to type on this post-it note, and it's really big. It's talking about being a drawing.
Yeah, so let me start the timer there. I got 2 more minutes on there. If somebody's typing really low, I can't click on when they're on, but you can resize it so it matches the rest of the post-it notes.
Mhm.
Does that answer your question?
No, I seem to be able to draw, but not type text.
Oh, I think you need to like turn off drawing mode or something like that, as I recall.
That's probably over here. So it's the draw.
So you're going into drawing mode.
Somehow I ended up in drawing mode.
Okay, and on the top right, there's a done drawing button. I have it on my screen if you can't see it.
Done drawing. Okay.
So if,
Should be
yeah, so
able
if your
to
icon's in the shape
scroll.
of a pencil, you're definitely in draw mode.
How did you?
So I got into
reveal
this mode
that
because I
button?
pressed the pencil. And I get out of the mode by pressing done drawing in the top right.
Okay.
I just switched to drawing mode to see from this perspective, and I don't have the done drawing button, but
I
I
go into-
do have a tiny keyboard
Yeah.
Interesting.
that switches me back.
Switch to text. That would be useful. Okay.
Well, I wonder why that is, because in the dojo, I'm a visitor. But I see
Oh, okay.
down there.
There is what did I just do? A sketch mode or something? So when you yeah, how do you get out of that? Okay, so it looks like for a post-it, you can enter text, or if you Lori, if you could create a new post-it.
Yep.
And there is a pencil icon there. That seems to go into a draw mode where you can draw on the post-it. All I did was just click outside it and then zoom back out, and I was able to do other things again.
Sketch mode is called.
I don't think I've ever used that before.
I think drawing with the mouse is a specialized skill.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, the cello was our reminder that our 2 minutes is up. So now what I'd like to do is invite you to make use of the icons. So these icons over on the left nav with the star, they give you little choices. I usually use the heart. You can really use whatever you want. So when I click it, you get these on the board. I'll add a few of those up here in case you'd rather just pick them off and move them. But what I'd like you to do is go on ahead and vote for some of the stickies that you'd like to dive deeper into. You can vote for as many as you want, but if they're all voted on, then we won't really have a great priority. So, pick your favorites. Please place them directly on the card. We can shift them around as we get into discussion. So. Okay, let's bring the voting to a close. Anyone need more time? All right, so demonstrating the board again, I'm going to move these over in priority order. So let's see, we've got 5 stickies there, 5 there, 6 here, and 5 here. So how long can you leave your board up will be our top topic, followed by an almost equal precedence on these unless they have more votes added. And last but not least. And one thing I didn't tell you guys, you can group grab too. So I just highlight a certain area and I can grab everything at once. That's how I was able to grab all the votes along with the sticky. All right, so our current topic is how long can you leave your board up? I don't think there's a limit. Mural works on a license that you pay, I think typically on an annual fee. But if you have a free one, you don't pay a fee. You can have up to, is it 3 boards for free? I can't remember. Anybody have an unpaid mural still that could answer that question? How many boards can you have at once?
I think it was 3, and you can archive them to open up space so that they like don't actually get deleted. So they're still there. So, you know, you can deactivate another one and bring it back. I think that's what I remember from the free version.
Okay, yeah, I didn't realize you could deactivate. That's a good tip. Yeah, so
Actually, this might also be a good time to cover some of the organization. You showed the workspace. Actually, are you okay showing your workspace on this one, Lori?
what do you mean the workspace?
The thing in the upper dashboard. Sorry, so the upper left-hand corner where you say back to dashboard.
Oh yeah. Let me not jump out of the dojo, but I want a different link. Okay, here's the dashboard.
And
And
so
then
you
also,
can, yeah, you have rooms and
yeah, so like I have a toolbox because of different ones that I really like. I've got things for, well, I will have for my agility health radar, anything that I'm doing with my agile program management practice at work, and then specific ones that we're using within our team. So my toolbox is growing here, but I actually belong to several spaces. So I don't want to show you the other spaces since I don't own them.
yeah, but you can organize things into folders and then, boy, I forget the rooms. Is that all about permissions? Heather, do you remember what rooms were all about?
I think you can have public rooms in the free version. If you want private rooms, it's the paid version. And I think folders, I think that was introduced after we did the free trial. So I'm not sure if folders are available in the free version or not.
Yeah, I don't think I've used for your folders yet. These are rooms. I don't say the word room on them like I do with the AgilePDX one. I think we call it rooms. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, private rooms, I'm guessing I can't look in there. No, I can. So I don't. Oh, because I'm logged in as an event host. Yeah, but if I wasn't, I'm logged in as administrator here, so that's why I can see.
It's I like this one because it's limited to only invite only. So like you can see up there at the top where you have your little icon with only one person can access this. So you can have a folder and like share it with only specific people.
Though you can be in here and share, you can create links. So that kind of thing. So it doesn't necessarily, I mean, it can still be shared with other people even though they don't have access. Does that make sense? Yeah, going behind the scenes, I won't mess with the AgilePDX one. In your event space, we can dive into that if someone wants to add a card for it. All right, coming back to Lean Coffee. Next topic is any best practices or ideas for using Mural to drive discussions? Well, Lean Coffee is one example, which we're live demonstrating for you. The team canvas is really good to get teams talking about what works for them and what doesn't work for them. Any other ideas and practices that others would like to share?
I mean, really, I've used it for anything I'd use a whiteboard for. So, you know, we're doing some team launching activities. And so everything from, we did a personal shields activity where everybody sort of said, hey, here's who I am, here's what I value, these are my strengths, this is where I'd like to grow. There's those kinds of things. It actually worked out really well because as a facilitator, I could actually, it works better than it does like in the room I usually don't have the luxury of like booking the room for the morning, putting everything up on the walls, and then having everybody come in. But you can do that in Mural. You can have everything laid out beforehand, and sort of like walk yourself through it, and no one's going to mess with it. One of the things the features that I use quite a lot when I facilitate is locking objects. So like you'll notice on the dojo, you can't click on like the text that I wrote and those icons and stuff. But you can do things like add new thing, add post-its and add things. But so by locking, it basically says, hey, listen, it basically prevents people from inadvertently messing up your stuff, right? And if we've all been there where we've like collaborated on a Google Doc or someone and something, and someone accidentally hits Control A and then deletes everything. It's like try to get it back. Mural has nice features for making sure that there's the stuff that doesn't change that people just work with as opposed to work around as opposed to the things they work with.
Yeah, to me, Mural is all about discussion. It's that interaction that you get standing around a whiteboard. That's the reason I like using the tool, because everybody can type into it. It's not just one person up at the board doing everything.
Lori, I ended up kicking myself out of the meeting in the beginning for a bit and had to come back. Did you say that these, like the team canvas is a template you create, or that you can reuse, or are all of these just custom drawings?
No, like this lean coffee here that I'm using, I took one of their templates and then I edited it. So I unlocked certain parts and changed it around. So for instance, if I go to their lean coffee, you'll see what the original looked like. So this is the original one. And it didn't have those notes section at the bottom. So I felt like everything was spaced really far apart. I felt like there wasn't enough room to really add a bunch of stickies. So I just unlocked everything and changed sizing and made it my own, simplified the instructions because I didn't think they needed all of the noise that was in it.
Mm-hmm.
So like the teen canvas, that one came from another person I'm working with, but I think there is a teen canvas in here, and teencanvas.org. Yeah, it is. Okay, so it is a built-in template built in with Mural.
And you can create your own, and save your templates. I see it there.
Exactly.
Okay. Any best practices for creating templates?
I haven't had the need to yet.
Yeah, I haven't saved anything as templates in my space yet. I just go back and reuse what I call my toolbox, when I was showing you my room. There.
Has anybody tried using Mural with open space?
Yeah, we used it for Agile Open Northwest last week. It was great.
Technically, that was Miro, but
right.
thing, right?
But it could be used the same way. Yeah, you're right. That was Mural. They're very, very similar. This one, there was a lot to it. We spent all 3 days inside of it. And so it's going to look a little noisy at first. So, but we came in to plan our days, and then all of the notes for each event were captured within those rooms based off the open space board that was created. So
I thought that was all part of KikoChat.
But they're using the Mural board. So KikoChat directs you into Zoom and into Mural. And that's how the tools they use to run the conference.
I can add sort of, I guess, one example of where Mural has really helped me is I have, we call them technical product owners, or technical product managers, but it's kind of like a product owner. I have someone who was new to the role. And so trying to kind of like break down what he wanted to do was difficult with like the document or putting it in our tool. And so what I found was I didn't have a template. I just had a whiteboard and sticky notes. And I prepared kind of like what David mentioned, where it's like, if I was in the office, I would have covered everything in sticky notes before we started. So we came in and I was like, here's all the things that you've said. And it helped us kind of drag things around and visualize them. and we're both visual people. So for us, just having those conversations and getting to move things around really helped. And then we took that and then put it into our tool afterwards. But I think just that whole like whiteboard, putting sticky notes on, that was the value that I saw in it.
Yeah, and I'll give you a sneak peek. We used it to plan this session as well. We talked about, what do we think that you want to get out of this session? We talked about, how do we want to facilitate? What do we want to share? What features should we emphasize and make sure that you guys get a chance to turn them all on? I think we hit them all. Well, I'm speaking while we're over there. And David was genius. He actually used it in a best time to meet. So, there's plenty of tools for that, but that was really genius, David. I really liked what you did there.
Well, and we did this all asynchronously too, which was nice. I mean, right? It's sort of implied, but it's like, oh, hey, when you want to meet to like talk about these things, like, wait, no, we can just put stickies up there, and then we get together for half an hour to talk instead of like an hour and a half to talk. So it was nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Has anybody used this with distinctly non-technical audiences? I'm wondering how they onboarded it.
I have not. I've only
Yeah,
used it
usually my
myself,
marketing team. They're pretty technical though.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we've used it with design and product. All right, in lean coffee format, do you guys want to continue, go with the crowd, or move on? Okay, looks like we're ready to move on. All right, next up. Let's do some template sharing. So anybody have some favorite templates they want to share and how you're using it with your teams? You can drop a link or I can hand sharing back and forth. Probably easier to drop a link.
Looks like there might already be some in there. People have been sharing some stuff.
Yeah, I
did.
saw the one that Heather put in there for some training. I haven't been in this space, so. Yeah, Desiree, I agree. There's a lot of overlap between the two tools. I get them confused, not just because of the name. This is a great resource, Heather. Thank you.
For me, I think the template that I probably use the most would be just the like retrospective one, or that, hey, what went well, what didn't go well, that kind of thing. But like I said, I think I really like using just like a blank screen and kind of pretending like it's a whiteboard. So that's what I use more than the templates, I think.
That's what I find myself doing too.
I think one of the
Really. Oh, go ahead, Neil.
I think one of the really cool things about this is, unlike a normal whiteboard where you're constantly erasing it, here you have the opportunity to save everything that you've captured on the whiteboard. You can move it, you can shrink it, you can do things to make more space and keep all that knowledge that you've had without just throwing it away.
So I'm
Okay.
gonna poke at that a little bit. So my I've been mentored in facilitation, and it's like, Paula, throw away the stickies. Paula, throw away the stickies. So it's a lot of detail if you're keeping everything. That's not always good for everybody's learning style or information processing style to keep everything. So yeah, so that's just a counter.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering in that sense myself, like, how am I going to manage this when it starts getting really cluttered in my rooms? And so, will I maybe have an archive folder where, things I might go look at in the future? I don't, how many lean coffees do I want to keep active, for example? I'm pro and con. I'm pro because I like to keep it clean and easy, but also people like to be able to come back and refer back. And a lot of people get discombobulated when you change a style on them. So, if you reorganize the stickies, for example, certain personality types, I would throw them for a loop. And so, so I could go either way on it. I'll be gray.
I did just recently, like last week, go back through all of the retrospectives that I had facilitated this year and pulled out how many action items we took from each retrospective, just to kind of like track my own data. And I thought it was really interesting, and I was really happy to have like access to go back and look at the boards.
Do you guys provide a summary? When you do it for retrospectives, do you provide a separate summary?
Yeah, in Confluence.
That may be the best of both worlds then. If you keep all the details that other people that like that, which I'm clearly not that, or you have a summary someplace, this is, you know, I used to keep it running in a wiki, the latest retrospective was on the top kind of thing. So if you did both.
I can share what I do, Paula. So I kind of look at Mural as like the tool to get the ideas out of the people, but then I always take the text and put it into a Confluence document when I'm done. And so what I like about Mural is you can export the PDF. So when we're all done, yeah, but when you're all done, I just like export the PDF and then I actually attach it to the Confluence.
Her audio, is that just me?
Oh, can you not hear me?
I think mine froze too. That was weird.
I can hear you.
It just went out for a moment.
Oh, okay. Am I back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was just saying, I put everything into Confluence afterwards and don't expect people to come back to the Mural. But I'll save a PDF and attach it in the Confluence page so that you can look at it. And like, for me, I'm a visual person. So when I look at the board and kind of see the notes, like it helps me remember the conversation. So that's what so that we have like, there's just the text things for the people who want just the summary, but then you can also see like, what did we actually come up with?
All right, any other favorite templates you guys want to share? All right. Facilitation tools, tip, timer, voting. So we've done a little bit of that. So we showed how we do the voting using the icon. I think, is there, yeah, I'm facilitating the space.
Go over to the left to the,
Yeah, you can actually do a voting session. I'll demonstrate it so you guys can see it. So vote one. It's kind of weird because it locks things down. And I don't think you can add new stickies during the voting phase. So this is what it looks like for you guys. Your controls have changed a little bit. You've noticed that a lot of your things have grayed out. When you click on it, it votes for it. Whoops. Oh, I probably only set myself to one vote. Yeah. Vote one, literally vote one. So the cool thing is you can't see other people's votes. You notice that other people are voting up here, but I'm not seeing what they're voting on until I end the vote. And then it gives me the voting results. So a little bit more clear and concise than the icons.
I like this one because then you don't have to like do the math in front of everybody and total the cards. This kind of tells you.
Yeah, the reason I like the other is because I can still do that Kanban board for the discussion. And so by keeping it all in one space, I've got it there. But I think it keeps the votes when I go back. So
I do like that you can turn off your cursor so you can stay anonymous. That is nice. You cannot do that in Mural. But voting, which is anonymous, just not quite the same.
Yeah. And I don't think you can see who created a sticky either. You can see by the little icon down below who's typing, but they may not have entered their name, for instance. Like I have no idea who Visiting Sea Turtle is. So if they were entering a card, I wouldn't know who was typing that card. So there is still some anonymity in here, but.
Lori, that makes me think of the private mode, which is something that is like really, really awesome for retrospectives. And if the facilitator hits private mode, then you can see squares where other people are putting stickies, but you actually can't see their content. And so, you know, you have people like, okay, you have 3 minutes to put all your things up. And then once the time is up, then you can reveal it and combine duplicates. And I found, you know, by people not seeing what other people are doing, they can sometimes, you know, we get more ideas.
Right, and that's great for introverts too. What I used to use 1, 2, 4 all a lot, and having that time to think yourself is great for introverts.
Oh, that's cool. Thank you for sharing the private mode. I haven't used that before. Sweet. All right, any other facilitation tips and tricks? I showed the timer earlier. Pretty simple.
What are the other tools up there?
Yeah, I see more tools than you. That's right. So we did the voting session. Heather explained private mode. Custom toolbar I haven't used. I think it's just I can customize what controls are available for you to see. So I can take certain things away, for example. So if I turn on custom toolbar, it changes what's available and you only get what I click. And I can do a see preview so you'd see what they see. So let me undo that so you get all your tools back. And then the laser pointer, so you can see what I'm talking about without actually drawing. We did talk about the frames. This one, yeah, this one has it. I gotta move the cameras over for a moment. So we talked about the outline. The other things available, or you can go find things if you can't find it. Let's try table. Yeah, so highlighting what has that. So if you know a sticky's out there for something, you want to find it, that's a way you can do that. Activity I haven't used. Anybody use activity that could explain how that's?
Yeah, facilitators can see that, and this is the change log basically, and so
Okay.
then,
So with private mode, I wouldn't be able to know who added a sticky, but in this way, I would be able to see who added it.
you know, I don't know if private mode actually turns off logging, or if it's just that the other people on the board can't see, can't like follow the cursors and stuff and figure out who's there.
Okay, yeah, I haven't really used that too much. You can add comments to the board. So let's see. I haven't added comments, so I'm playing with this. Help me.
It's near the top. Oops.
Well, I
Third
clicked.
from the top.
Oh, so I have to be clicked onto the sticky before I start it.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, there. Now I can add a comment.
And I think we found comments
Show
to
me the comments
be
are on there.
useful while if you're collaborating with someone to build the mural. In while you're facilitating or whatever, comments don't make so much sense. And of course, then the other thing is that I believe you can mention people, but only if they have a mural account. So for instance, so people within your organization that might have an account, so they can be facilitators, but anybody who's visiting, you can't really have a conversation with them.
And then if we wanted a separate chat, we could. I hesitate to put chat in one more location already.
I see we're almost at time. I feel like the coolest thing that like kind of blew my mind with this that one of the mural people showed us was how you can actually take a shape like a square and then drag it onto your board somewhere. It'd be the shapes.
Yeah, I was just showing a table for the next one.
Cool.
Okay, here's a shape.
And so then if you made it like big and close, or like, had it for a whole area, then if you right click it and then do add to outline.
Oh, then it pops up over here.
Yeah, and then you can just put in a test title. But what I like about this is then if you click off of it and then click to it, it zooms you into that space. So if there's things that you want people to see, put it in a square, add it to the outline, and then when they click on it, it zooms them right to where you want them to see.
And does that force everybody into that spot?
Only if they click on that in their outline.
Okay, so everybody has to click on
Or they're following you.
Yeah, or if they follow you.
Yeah, isn't there a summon all thing that the host can do too? Where it forces us all to see their view.
There is a mural. A mural.
Maybe
No,
that is
mural.
Miro.
But I
I
don't
use
know if this
both,
one has
so
it.
There's
Yeah.
yeah, there is a summon. There's ask to be followed, which I believe is voluntary, versus summon, which actually just brings everybody. And it's under your avatar.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, right. Why it's there, I don't know. But
There it is. Oh yeah, and here's one of my favorite features, celebrate. Why didn't it do it?
I think we see it.
Oh, no. Normally I've seen it. Yeah, there's also the emojis at the bottom.
I'm on the mural board itself. I'm seeing.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
There, celebrate went off that time. Okay, we are almost at time. Let's see, we talked about those. The grid and table is over on your left navigation, or you can just drop a picture. Sometimes I like what I find for a picture or what I draw in Word to be better than some of the built-in frameworks that they have. I found it a little bit limited sometimes, so, but that's how you add a table. And I think that community is probably one of the best resources for learning Mural. Anybody else have one that they really like that they want to drop a link into, feel free. And then that leaves us with any less standard use cases other than typical ceremonies. Anybody have an example there as we close? All right, are there any outstanding questions?
Icebreakers.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna just
Really?
try to get
Was
off
it-
me. I was gonna say, what I like about it is like at the beginning to get everybody to do some sort of an icebreaker because it gets them kind of using the tool. And I've talked to lots of people, like people will save tons of murals so that they can just have them available and just, oh, I want to meet with this group. Here's an activity and just pop it out as a template. So that's something cool.
I like that. Oops, we're going back to. All right. Well, let's see. David, I'll hand it back to you. Anything
Okay,
you
thanks.
want
Well,
to
yeah, it's almost top of the hour, and we want to be respectful of everybody's time, give you a little bit of a time to transition to whatever comes next in your day. So thank you once again for joining us and learning more about Mural. You'll probably see it at some upcoming AgilePDX events, and we wanted to make sure you had an opportunity to know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Have a
Thanks
great day.
for
Have a great
teaching us.
weekend, everybody. We'll see you later.
Thanks, David and Lori.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Happy
Bye.
Friday.
Happy Friday.